So this is it. I'm officially moving out. It's totally empty. I got rid of everything. Here we go.
Do you wanna be happy? Do you wanna be happy? Do you wanna be happy? I said, do you wanna be happy? I said, do you wanna be free? I said, do you wanna be happy? I said, do you wanna be free? Free from pain, free from scars, free to sing, free from bars.
So while I'm talking, my hair will be flying all over my head, and y'all will see why in a minute. This about to be harder than I thought. Like, dang. Okay, I got it though. We about to do it.
I come around and they heads turn. Used to like with hair perm. Now I like it natural, actual, factual. Naps and shoot. Bougie still do ratchet shoot. Not afraid to pass the clip before I make the ratchet spit. Blap. Motivate, 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 motivate.
Hey y'all, it's Vanna. I'm finally back. Welcome back to Pretty Girl Vanna. So I've been gone for a long time, I know, and honestly it was well needed. I just had a lot of things going on, a lot of things I had to sort out, but most of y'all already know I officially moved to Phoenix, Arizona, guys. And I'm so happy. Like, I'm the happiest I've ever been in my whole life. Like, this is beautiful on so many different levels. But I'm about to make this video. I'm gonna make it short and sweet because my battery's about to die, and just give y'all the whole rundown on everything that's been going on. So while I'm talking, my hair will be flying all over my head, and y'all will see why in a minute. So starting from the beginning, I'm just gonna dive straight into it. This past chronological year, I would say starting from the end of last year to now, I had like so many different challenges in different aspects of my life that I faced, and it really just kind of broke me down. Yeah, for lack of better words, like I probably was at my lowest that I had ever been, like, in my whole life. This about to be harder than I thought. Like, dang. Okay, I got it though. We about to do it. Okay, so boom, key point. Depression is real. Listen to your body, listen to your mind, listen to yourself. I know as Black people, we kind of tend to say that depression is not a real thing. You're strong. You should be able to handle everything that comes towards you. You know, that's something that we were raised on. So when we're faced with it, we just feel like we should be able to take it, when in reality it's eating us all up inside, and we have to face it before we can ever get past something like that. So that's first and foremost, and I want to get that out the way. And I'm not by any means saying that I'm a weak individual or that I struggle going through stuff, because that's not it by far. All I'm saying is it's okay to look at your situation and try to evaluate it, figure out how you can, get through it. But most of the time, it's things that you can change, starting with the things that are surrounding you and your environment. And a lot of people feel like, well, this is all I know. This is everything I've ever been through. This is all my people know, like this and that. And we afraid to leave out of our comfort zone, even though it might be deteriorating us and we don't even know it. So with that, in this past year, it was just things like back to back to back to back. So many things happened, and I was just like, whatever, like I've been through worse. I'm gonna get through it. But I was just like taking it in and not really, putting action behind it to change the situations, or, I was kind of just like accepting my fate, if that makes sense, instead of realizing you don't have to deal with a lot of stuff that you're dealing with. And it was not until that moment when I started saying that to myself that a lot of things started changing for me. So I look at pain differently now. I look at pain as growth. I look at pain as growth and look at it as a lesson. Like, what is this trying to teach me, instead of whatever. This is what it is, and I'm gonna get over it. So if you my friend on Facebook, you probably see, and Instagram, you probably see that I made a post when I officially moved, and I brought up my emotional situation. I explained how I dealt with depression. I've been through heartbreak, embarrassment, just acting in certain ways that are not myself. Really just out of body, basically. And I was really disappointed in myself, and I didn't know how to handle it. But I knew one thing that did make me happy, and that was this place. And with all that, I was always so hard on myself. Like, why did you do that? Like, why are you feeling this way? You know, like, nothing's going right. What are you doing that's wrong? I kept blaming myself instead of trying to figure out what I could do to fix it, if that makes sense. So one day I just got fed up. You know how when your friend dealing with a man that you know ain't no good, but you feel like, I can't tell her nothing. I'll tell her one time, but she gonna get tired and fed up when she fed up. That was the type of situation this was. I got fed up when I finally got fed up with my current life circumstances, and it was a wrap after that. So for the timeline, I went through those emotions. I went through all the depression characteristics. Like, basically the only thing that was keeping me sane was my son, knowing that I had to take care of him, and my job, because I love what I do. Outside of that, I really just didn't care about anything at all. I didn't care about what I had going on. I didn't care about my home situation. I didn't care if I ate that day. I didn't care about nothing. So it really brought me, I feel like me going all the way to the bottom is what gave me that ambition and motivation to never want to see myself go to that point ever again. And I can say for the people that did hurt me, because I can think of a few situations right off the bat, instead of like holding grudges, I really appreciate that those situations happened and I was able to grow from it, because had they not happened, I probably would have been still in the same entrapment and not knowing what to do, you know, with myself. So how it went, like, I went through that whole scenario, you know, all of that. I was starting to come out of it, and it was time for me to renew my lease. And I was just like, I don't want to stay here. Like, this is draining me. Like, everything about Indiana, everything about my surroundings, the people, like, everything. I was so fed up, and I was like, I don't want to stay here. So my lease ended in July, and thankfully I was able to talk my leasing office into letting me do month to month and extend it. But then even that went wrong. So I did month to month, and 2 weeks later they sent me a letter like, you got to move out in 2 weeks because we rented your unit, and basically we don't have nothing else for you unless you re-sign a whole another 12-month lease. And I didn't want to do that to myself. So I started looking at other options. I didn't initially jump right into, I want to move across the country. I looked at apartments and houses in Indiana, but I wasn't happy. Like, I just wasn't happy. And I was like, I'm going to put my eggs in different baskets. I'm going to see what's going to happen. I visited Houston. I was like, that's a possibility. So I applied for my nursing license in Texas. And then I was like, well, I don't know if it's going to happen, but I'm going to apply for my nursing license in Arizona too, just because I know I love Phoenix, like, from the first time that I ever visited. So we'll see what happens with that. But that was the beginning of me getting the ball rolling. But as I was doing that, I was still trying to secure a foundation in Indianapolis just in case nothing happened in those other areas. I got my Texas license first. I started looking for jobs, applying to all these places, you know, looking at different areas that I might want to live in. And I'm like, okay, this might work. Never got a call. Never heard anything. Still to this day, I never heard nothing from any job in Texas, in the Houston area. So I have that license, but that just wasn't for me right at this moment. With my Arizona license, I applied for jobs, and I wasn't getting anything. I just looked at it as, if it's supposed to happen, it's gonna happen. Everything is gonna be set. Just don't force it. Waste your time. So I'm applying, and I'm just like, whatever, nothing's gonna happen because nothing happened in Texas. So I'm just gonna stay where I'm at, look for a place. I had a place picked out. I had a lease signing day, all of that in Indianapolis. And then I got a call a week before I was supposed to move out from a job in Arizona, doing the same thing I'm doing now. And they were like, actually, let me backtrack. It wasn't for the same thing that I'm doing now. It was for emergency. And at that point, I was just being desperate, I'll be honest. I was like, I'll apply for something and just get what I can get, because it's all the same, even though it's not. It's all the same, and I'll just deal with it for now until something better comes along. So I applied for the emergency department job, and they called me. So I'm talking to the recruiter. She's like, I'm looking at your resume and I see you don't have any emergency experience. So I just want to know what brought you to apply for this position. And I told her, I was brutally honest with her. I was like, well, you know, when I was in nursing school, I thought that I might be interested in emergency. So I'm willing to try it at this point just because I'm ready for a change. And she was like, okay, that's cool. So I get what you're saying, but I honestly feel like this might not be a good fit for you. Instead of getting upset, I'm just like, okay, I understand. I appreciate you being honest with me. She was like, however, I see you do have labor experience. And there's a position that I haven't posted yet online, but I'm interested in sending your information to the manager because you have all the experience that we're looking for. I'm like, okay. So I'm playing it cool. I'm like, of course, yeah, that's fine. I really would like that. Labor is what I really want to stay in anyway, just because I'm comfortable with it. I love it. That's my passion. And I'd be willing to go for it, learn a different location and place. But yeah, basically that's how it went. I had a phone interview, first and foremost. They never even saw me. And they were like, yeah, you got the job, basically. And then even after that, I was like, I don't know, because that's across the country and it costs to move. So I called them and I was like, I just want to give you guys a heads up. I'm still debating on this situation. I don't know for sure if this is what I want to do, because being honest, I don't have the type of money that it takes to move from Indiana to Arizona. And I don't know if it's a smart move for me and my son right at this moment. And the lady was like, really? All it took was for you to speak up. I wasn't going to say anything about it, but we do offer a program where we'll pay you X amount of thousands of dollars because you're moving from a different state, relocating here. I'm like, huh? Okay. My battery is about to die, but I wanted to show y'all this before I get off, because this is absolutely beautiful and this is everything that I ever wanted. And this is life. Like, this is what life is. I'm at the top of South Mountain in Phoenix, Arizona. I just decided that I was going to do this morning, and I got up and made it happen. And I feel so accomplished all around. And this speaks volumes because this is beautiful. I love it. Okay, I'm back. Sorry for the change of scenery. I had to come back home and charge my phone up. But I wanted to make sure I get this done because I feel like I was on the road talking and I want to get it all out. Back to my job situation. The lady was like, we'll give you this money if you decide you want to move here. Just let us know if that's what you want to do. You don't even have to accept it. It's just an offer that we'll give you. So of course, I took it as a positive sign. I negotiated the pay a little bit, which was another growing experience for me because, in all honesty, the pay was fine. It was a lot greater than what I was used to in Indiana. And the cost of living, honestly, from Indianapolis to the Phoenix area, like the surrounding cities of Phoenix, is really comparable, in my opinion. So I negotiated the pay. I didn't know what was gonna happen. I didn't know, they could have declined the offer. They could have, So I negotiated and they were like, okay, yeah, that's fine. You made some valid points. So I really shocked myself because that was my first time ever doing anything like that. And it worked out in my favor. So not only did I secure a position in the area that I wanted to work in, which is labor and delivery, I received a bonus for moving from out of state, and I negotiated for a higher pay than what they were even offering, and I was allowed to choose the shift that I wanted to work on. So all of that worked out amazingly, and it was all unexpected because when I went into the situation, I didn't go into it saying this is what I need or it's not gonna work. I went into it, I was like, I'm gonna try this and see how it works, and if it doesn't work out, cool. If it does, I'll just use this situation while I can until I find something better, because I know where I'm at right now is not what I want. I'm very particular when it comes to me and my son being comfortable. So if you know me, 2 things that I don't play about when it comes to me and my child is me living in a safe community, safe environment, and my son going to a good school. So with that said, in the process of me moving, I flew out to Phoenix. I looked for an apartment first, so I have been researching schools and things like that to get a feel for the different areas that I want to live in. I'm looking for apartments and I'm like, okay, I'm making more money. I know I can afford these high prices of rent, but do I really want to do that to myself? Do I want to be comfortable, or do I want to, have something that's out of the ordinary just to say I have it, basically? So I decided to go with, I want to be comfortable, that way I can stack and get what I really want in the future, which is to be a homeowner. I searched and searched and searched. I was getting so discouraged. I'm like, I can't find anything that's what I want. It was just getting really frustrated and I was starting to give up. So the last day of my trip for me finding housing, I found the place that I'm moving into now. And it's everything that I was looking for. It's not the newest place, but it's not raggedy and it's not dirty. Let me just say that. It's everything that I was looking for. All I wanted was 2 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms. I wanted a fireplace just because I love my fireplace when I was in Indianapolis. I'm still going to use it in Hot Springs, Arizona. Judge all you want. But 2 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, washer and dryer, fireplace, square footage, because I'm very particular about my space. And I wanted to live somewhere safe, of course, and I wanted the school to be good. So the apartment was everything that I was looking for, everything that I listed, plus it was under budget, so that was cool. And then I researched the school in addition to that, and the school turned out to be one of the best school districts in the Phoenix area and the best school in the area as well. So if you research on greatschools.com, the school that my son attends now is rated a 9 out of 10. And I'm happy. I kept doubting this situation, even though all of these things was aligned, because I never knew anybody else to do something like this. And I was going to be the first person to take a leap of faith just to be happy. And I didn't really tell anybody, even my mom, like my mom and dad, I didn't tell anybody until everything was ready and set in stone. So when I finally did tell my mom, she was like, okay, I mean, I wish you wouldn't go so far, but I understand if that's what you want to do to be happy. So she cool. I talked to my dad and he like, okay. I'm like, no dad, I'm serious. And he looking at me like, she really serious. I'm like, oh my God. So yeah, my dad took it harder than my mom, which is really not what I was expecting. He almost cried. He probably doesn't want me to tell y'all that, but yeah. So yeah, I got that out of the way, but aside from that, I really didn't tell anybody. And reason being, I didn't want anybody to talk me out of it. You know when you have a dream it seems like it's so unattainable and it's so out there, like everybody around you is like, why do you want to try to do something like that? Why don't you try to work with what you got here until you can do that comfortably? Here's the thing. And I will never say that I did this thing by myself, because I have friends that helped guide me along the way. So I have a friend that said, if it were easy, everybody would be doing it. This move, I would say by far, has not been easy. Like, it's been cool. I won't say it's been easy though. But I'm just like, if it was easy, everybody would be doing it. So you can't expect for people that's not doing the same thing that you're doing to understand what you're doing and why you're doing it, because they haven't done it. That makes sense? I'm so thankful for that friend that's helped guide me like so far in this process. Like, it will never go unnoticed. When I initially moved here, I expected to stay in an extended stay for a little while my apartment was still getting together. So it was only supposed to be a couple of days. When I got out here, my last check from my last job was not what I was expecting, and I had to wait on that, which meant I wasn't able to move in when I thought I was going to be able to move in. Because the money that I was getting from the job that I have now, of course I had to actually start working to be able to receive it. They wasn't going to just give me the money up front, not knowing that I'm actually going to punch the clock. So that happened, and I panicked because that's all I knew how to do. Like, when I'm stressed, I panic and I freak out. And I'm just like, oh my God, what am I going to do? Like, it's not going how I planned it. And I just thought everything was about to fall through the cracks because I was being dramatic and I wasn't looking at it like, okay, this is happening for a reason and you just need to face it. Thankfully, I have a friend from high school, and she has been nothing short of amazing, that allowed me and my son to stay with her while I waited for my place to be ready. And I will forever be grateful for her in this situation because she really didn't have to do what she did. And it helped us out way more than she probably even knows. So thank you. This is where we at now. We finally moved in. I'm still rebuilding. I'm finna rewind because I left out some details. So when I got the job, I accepted the offer. I'm like, I'm pretty stable in Indianapolis. I got a apartment full of furniture, like my car, all of that. So I was looking at options of shipping my car, which is an excessive amount of money that I was not gonna pay. So I'm like, I guess I'm gonna just have to drive it because I don't know what I'm gonna do. My car is not paid off and I'm not paying almost $1,000 to ship it when I can just drive there. So I did that, and then I'm looking at all my furniture like, okay, so how is this gonna get there? I'm looking at options to ship my furniture or even take a U-Haul with my car on the back, and I'm just like, yeah, I'm not doing that either because that's absolutely ridiculous. So what did I do? Being spontaneous and being myself, I sold everything, and I was like, if it sells, then I know something. That was like one of my other biggest things. So I took pictures of all of my furniture. I posted it on OfferUp, Facebook Marketplace, Let Go. I texted stuff to my friends. I'm like, hey, I'm selling this randomly. This, you want it? Okay. And then for my friends, I'm like, here, if you want to take it and you just want to pay me later, give me what you can, and that's cool. Everything was gone in a day. Everything was gone in a day. And I was able to, I still have a small storage space, but I was able to get rid of my big furniture and not have to worry about that as I made this leap. So I packed up my car with everything else that me and my son had, clothes, little miscellaneous things that we need immediately, and got on the road. It wasn't just me and my son. My mother thankfully came with us because she wasn't gonna have it any other way. She wanted to make sure we was cool, and plus that's dangerous, you know, for it to be just me and my son and we taking a 26-hour drive on country roads and mountains and in the desert, and yeah, it just wasn't safe. And luckily she did come with me because we ended up catching a flat tire almost in a dead zone where we didn't have any signal, and we had to work that out. It was crazy and stressful, but I wouldn't have it any other way because I'm so happy now and we're in such a better space. My son is enjoying it. The biggest advice that I can give to parents is make sure that you're happy, because if you're not happy, you can't expect your kids to be happy if they're looking at their parent and know that their parent is not happy. Kids are always joyful, but they notice little things like that and they will carry that stuff with them. And you'll be surprised at how many kids take that stuff and they'll remind you of it later on. Like, it was things that I was going through when my son was 3 years old. And I just thought, he's only 2 or 3 years old, he's not going to remember. And he still talks to me about stuff like that to this day. It shocks me. It's crazy. But keep that in mind. Always make sure that you're happy as a parent before you can make anybody else happy. You know how, like, if you listen to the people on the airplane, you know how when they say, if the oxygen mask fall, make sure you cover your face first and then proceed to help the other ones around you, children second. It's the same situation. Because if you trying to cover your child's face with a mask, guess what's going to happen if you can't do it fast enough? you're gonna pass out. And now both of y'all gonna pass out because the kid can't get it by themselves. They're dependent on you. Make sense? Come on now. I mean, that's the major reason why I did this. I had to make sure that I was happy. I had to make sure that I was comfortable with the situation in order to give my child a better life. Honestly, this is something that I wanted to do. The first time I visited was 2 years ago. This month, 2 years ago. That is so crazy. I wanted to move then, but I'm like, nah, that's crazy. Like, and the reason that I was out here was another reason that I was like, I don't want to do that because what if this and that and this and that. But I wasn't focused on me. I was focused on a whole bunch of other scenarios that were irrelevant and are still irrelevant to this day. And I could have been living my best life 2 years ago. But here I am, rebuilding, and I'm still happy. It's cool. It is what it is. But in that process, I'm thankful it happened because I learned everything that I know now, and I'm able to build on that, come to y'all, and let y'all know what I've learned from the situation to maybe help somebody else. To maybe help somebody else grow and build and become their better self as I'm becoming my better self. And yeah. I don't know what else to say. I feel like that was a mouthful, but I'm so thankful that I finally did what I'm doing, and it's really been amazing. I don't know how else to put it into words. It's the biggest leap of faith that I've ever took in my entire life, and I'm happy. I know this video is pretty long, but I thank y'all for watching. If you made it this far, stay tuned with me because I'm out here and I'm gonna be recording and I'm gonna need y'all to rock with me, okay? Like it, post it, share it, do whatever you want with it. I don't care because it's still gonna be there and I'm still gonna be cool. Bye.